Mary Barra loves making outlandish, questionable, and highly provocative statements. So far this year and last year, it hasn't done anything for General Motors stock price, but it's certainly made them a talking point in the media. This time, Mary is at it again, saying that EV startups are not targeting the affordable part of the market. Well, here's some information for you, Mary, and here is why you are most certainly wrong on that. Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Electric Viking. My name is Sam Evans. I'm going to tell you all about some affordable EVs that EV startups will be selling soon that prove that they are actually targeting the affordable part of the market. Welcome to the channel. Great to have you here. Let's get straight to it. What exactly did Mary say? Here was the general gist of it. Mary Barra, CEO of General Motors, highlighted the legacy automakers' push for affordability in the electric vehicle segment in a post-earnings call on Tuesday this week. Now, for you Aussies, that's Tuesday in the US, not Tuesday here in Australia. Different day. Affordability is the key. GM aims to topple current electric vehicle leader Tesla in the coming years, which is obviously mathematically impossible. I've talked about that in the past. Anyway. Okay. It's so silly, it's ridiculous. But anyway, Barra told investors that affordability is key in the electric vehicle game. I agree with that. And that GM's plans to launch a $30,000 electric Equinox is a development worth noting. But Mary, what's more important is actually building EVs. That's the number one most important thing. Then you can focus on affordability. Build them first, then focus on affordability. If you can only build 1 million by the end, as in your run rate, is the end of 2025, then that means you won't be building 1 million EVs in 2025, but you will in 2026. That's 4 years away. Tesla's already at 1 million now. So your numbers are not adding up, obviously. GM plans to launch the Equinox EV in 2023. I made a video about that. I'll put a link in the description below. Great news. And is also working on another more affordable electric vehicle. Who knows what that is? Maybe it's a new version of the Bolt. But the problem with the Bolt is if General Motors does manufacture that vehicle, great vehicle by the way, good price, I think it's worth considering if you're in the market for a lower priced EV. If you could buy them, you can't right now. The factory's been shut since August of last year. But if they do bring that out again, the key issue here is that apparently GM actually makes a loss on every vehicle of more than $5,000. So if you're going to sell, say, 500,000 of those, that's a loss of $250 million. I don't think that's really realistic. Let's be realistic about this. Let's have a think about this. Tesla is currently getting as much battery storage as they can for the cheapest batteries in the world. These batteries are a lot cheaper than GM's Ultium battery. Sorry, GM, but it's true. You make your batteries in the US, and they're not lithium iron phosphate. So your batteries are probably going to cost double what Tesla's batteries cost. So if anyone is going to have the capacity to make a cheap EV, it's not you, GM. It's not. Not according to all the information they've given us anyway. If I'm wrong, I would love to be wrong. I would love to be wrong. I want Ford and GM to succeed. But as far as I can tell, I don't see how General Motors can make a profit on a $30,000 SUV currently, based on what they're doing right now. If they were to get lithium iron phosphate battery supply from a company like CATL, by the way, that's what Tesla's planning on doing in the US, building lithium iron phosphate factories with a Chinese company. That will enable Tesla to build their $25,000 EV. That's what GM, I think, need to do to directly compete in this low-priced market. In contrast, though, if we just go on what we have heard recently, Tesla CEO Elon Musk last month said his company is currently not working on a $25,000 electric vehicle at the moment. As we know, based on what Tesla has said, they have been working on one for the last year or so. But they've paused that production development in order to focus on their other vehicles, the Semi, the Cybertruck, building out Model Y production, 4680 battery cells, and the Model 3. They're the main things Tesla are working on. In addition, getting more battery supply. That's the most important thing. So Tesla has 5 different battery suppliers currently, and they've got themselves. Who are they? CATL, LG Chem, BYD, Panasonic, Goshon High Tech apparently are going to build these massive factories in the US for Tesla for about 200 gigawatt hours of battery production. That, my friends, is giving you the obvious answer here. Tesla does plan on selling cheap EVs in the US. Otherwise, why on earth would they build out 200 gigawatt hours of battery capacity in the US of lithium iron phosphate batteries? What are they going to do? Sell tens of millions of expensive EVs? It's not possible. So clearly the answer here is Tesla actually has a plan to sell a cheap EV in the US. They've already announced it. Goshan High-Tech's already showed us the filings in the stock exchange of what they're planning on doing. That information is public information, but I don't see any public information from General Motors showing how they can actually affordably build 5 million cheap electric vehicles. That information hasn't been disclosed to us yet. Now, it's possible they have a plan, some plan they haven't disclosed to us, but I haven't seen it yet, and GM hasn't disclosed that yet. One good thing I just spoke about in another video I've just released today is General Motors has 170,000 reservations for its Hummer pickup truck and its Silverado EV. In addition to that, they also have a lot of pre-orders for the Cadillac Lyriq. So I'm estimating right now GM has more than 200,000 pre-orders for their electric cars. There's a lot of people that want a GM. They want a GM vehicle. They want a GM electric vehicle, not a GM gas vehicle. I'm going to tell you now, I think by mid to end of next year, GM could have up to 1 million pre-orders for its electric cars. The demand there is huge. Speaking of demand, Barra said the company would name the site for a fourth US electric vehicle battery plant in the first half of this year, invest in a third electric truck assembly plant, and focus on affordable EV launches. But the key issue here that I'm not seeing is how they're going to build these cheap electric cars. The batteries they're manufacturing, they're not cheap batteries. Don't get me wrong, they're not like super expensive batteries, but they're not anywhere near the cost of, say, CATL's lithium iron phosphate batteries. The energy density will be higher, but the cost to build these Ultium batteries will be significantly higher than a lithium iron phosphate batteries. Those are the batteries you need for these cheap EVs. So I'm not sure how GM plans to do it. Something they're doing, there's some secret here that I haven't heard, but I want to know what it is, GM. Let me know. Barra took over as CEO of General Motors in 2014, and the company's 1 million units of EV capacity in North America by the end of 2025 will not be enough to meet the growing demand for electric vehicles that it expects starting mid-decade. This is what she said. That's why we will continue to convert ICE capacity to EVs and plan to invest a third EV truck plant. We are formulating plans for the truck plant right now. This is what I think Mary Barra and GM should focus on more than this affordable EV. This is how GM exists now. GM doesn't exist because it makes affordable cars. It exists because it makes pickup trucks that Americans want to buy. That's where it makes its profit. Clearly, we all know that, right? More than 70% of General Motors' profit right now comes from building pickup trucks. So building out hundreds of thousands of affordable EVs, if they think they're going to do that, I don't know if they are, but that's the suggestion Mary is making here, isn't where they're making money, and it isn't where they're going to make money in the future. They're going to make it from pickup trucks. I think they should focus on that. The Detroit, Michigan-based General Motors has previously announced 3 battery plants. GM's Lordstown, Ohio battery cell manufacturing plant is expected to open in June this year, followed by Spring Hill, Tennessee plant by mid-2023. The company's Lansing, Michigan battery plant is expected to come online by late 2024. And Barra said the following: importantly, battery cells will not be a constraint to our long-term EV growth. Our Ultium Cells joint ventures in Ohio and Tennessee come online in 2022 and 2023, respectively. And Mary Barra claims that GM will add capacity as demand grows. GM has said it plans to invest $9 billion to $10 billion this year, including investments in Ultium battery cell joint venture, and said it expects similar levels of spending over the next several years. So Barra told investors that GM is steamrolling ahead with plans to switch to an all-electric portfolio and is not reinstating the dividend as it invests currently now for growth. GM has previously said it's going to spend $35 billion through 2025 towards scaling up electric and autonomous vehicle capability, and it will launch 30 EVs by that time. Let's get to Mary Barra's claim that no startups are interested in making EVs in mass production that are affordable. I'm going to tell you one company that is a startup that does plan on making them. Their name is Nita, or Hozon Auto. In January this year, they sold 11,000 electric cars. That's a 400% increase over what they sold last January. However, their run rate by the end of last year means they'll probably hit 250 to 300,000 EV sales this year. Not in 2025, this year. In China right now, Xpeng makes affordable EVs, believe it or not. Their cheaper EVs are within General Motors' asking price for the Equinox. Xpeng aims on hitting 300,000 electric car sales this year. XPeng plans on selling their cars in 25 different markets worldwide. In addition to that, XPeng does plan on becoming a big manufacturer in that area of lower priced EVs. When I say lower priced, I mean $30,000. Then we have BYD. Of course, BYD is not a startup, but I'm pretty sure they're going to start eating GM's lunch if GM don't get a move on. This year, or should I say in 2021, BYD was the third largest producer in the world of electric cars. They delivered 350,000 electric cars in China alone, and they plan to go global this year and next. In other words, you'll have the opportunity to buy an affordable BYD in most countries in the West within the next 2 years. Now, what about Leap Motor? They sell relatively affordable EVs in China right now. Their sales were up 400% year on year in January and December, and they're doing pretty damn well in China. Now, what about Aura, Great Wall's EV company? Aura sold 21,000 EVs in December of last year. That's quite a lot more than GM's 26 that they sold in the fourth quarter of last year. 21,000 in a single month. They look to be on track to sell around 300,000 electric cars this year. What number will that be in 2025? I don't know, but I'm pretty sure they've got a good chance of being a global automotive EV company selling affordable cars, because currently they're already doing that. They're already planning on selling their EVs in Europe this year. They already started selling in Thailand, and they've just started selling in Europe. They're coming to Australia and a bunch of other countries as well. Let's not forget MG. Sure, they're not a startup, but who cares? MG are selling electric cars that are affordable, and I just made a video about MG's affordable electric hatch that's coming to many countries around the world this year as well. I'll put a link in the description below to that video. There's a bunch of other companies in China as well. There's NIO, WM Motor, BAIC Blue Park, ArcFox, Aeon. Aeon, for example, sold 17,000 EVs in December last year, and then they sold the same number in January last year, which is the second slowest month of the year for China. So you can see they're on a run rate this year of probably around about 300,000 EVs. The avalanche from China is coming. It's coming to the US, whether you believe it or not. It's just a matter of time. GM need to get a move on. Mary Barra is doing a lot of talking, but I think it's time to stop the talk and start walking the walk. Let me know if you agree in the comments section below. Do you think it could be time for Mary to stop talking and to just start acting? That's what I suggest, but maybe I'm wrong. Have a great day, and I'll see you again on the next one. Bye-bye.